Hello, and thanks for stopping by. Today we'll be reviewing Oreon Lime R2. Now, this is a project in which I reached out to the owner of in order to review this, and they gave me full permission to go ahead and leave a review and all that good stuff. So this is my review on Oreon Lime R2. If we go to boostyconnect.com/Oreon/, you'll be able to see this screen here, and you can see Oreon Lime R2 and Oreon Lime R1.1. But it seems that Lime R1.1 is discontinued. So we would go to this Lime R2, but before that, I want to scroll down just a little bit and see what's going on here. So downloads since January, there's 2,400 downloads. So that's, I don't know, I'd say that's pretty impressive. Getting over 2,400 people to get on it, I think it's nice. Frequently asked questions. Why would I use Oreon instead of Fedora or Alma Linux? So one thing to note is that Oreon is based off of Alma Linux, and Alma Linux is based off of Fedora. So Oreon is made for people who want a more user-friendly and better out-of-the-box operating system experience. Oreon comes with multiple useful repositories built in, such as Docker. Not really sure what Docker is. Which Fedora and Alma Linux don't have. Oreon ships with GNOME and some extensions prepackaged to make the user interface more friendly. Oreon Lime R2 is supported until 2032, making the need to upgrade versions less of a worry. And so I wonder how you're able to support it up until 2032. It's really interesting to me how that works, because most of them only last like 4 or 5 years, sometimes 2 years. It depends on the distro, but it's impressive nonetheless that you're able to do that. Where are the repositories and source code? All of our source code is listed below. So you got mainstream source RPMs and mainstream RPMs. The base files are not hosted here. We get our base files directly from Alma Linux official repositories. What themes do we use? We use a theme called Tila for our icons and add Weta for our shell and window themes. What to expect? Quick installation. Oreon's Anaconda installer walks you through all the steps to make your installation be exactly how you want it. You can add users, specify your time zone, select a preferred language, and more. Beautiful user interface. Oreon comes with the GNOME desktop environment. However, it is not what you would expect from default GNOME. It has a simpler layout, bringing everything you need all at the bottom. You will also have a handy applications menu with multiple different layouts. You only get what you need. Oreon ships with multiple repositories including Docker, FlatHub, and EPEL. Not really sure what EPEL is, but FlatHub is good for some applications that you can't get from their original repositories. We do always plan to add more as time goes on. One thing is certain is you will not have large packages that you may not want. FlatHub and EPEL have to be manually enabled and Docker has to be manually installed. Okay, so that's yeah, I think that's good. I think it could be good. I think FlatHub, if you're going to do FlatHub, I think it should be more automatic, but I understand that there's going to be some people that are against that because they don't want to use FlatHub or Snap, so I get that. And again, I don't know what Docker is, so I'm not going to comment too much on that. This is done to reduce any unwanted bloat, and that's the good thing. I'm glad that you're wanting to not have so much bloat, because that is the problem with a lot of distributions, is that they put a bunch of bloat on there and it makes it, I don't know about slow, but it just, you have a bunch of files that are unnecessary that you don't really need. Long-term support. Again, Oreon promises an 8-year support lifecycle for the current version, lasting until 2032. This is done by directly fetching updates from the official Alma Linux repositories. Oreon is based on Alma Linux, which follows a long-term support lifecycle. And one of the things that comes across in my head is like you might need someone eventually to like tackle on the long-term support, because if you're getting on other versions of your distribution, you're going to be more focused on that than you are the long-term support stuff. So you may want to, I don't know, I guess have someone that can help you with the long-term support stuff. Use an Oreon as a server. For this, you would need to use Samba and Cockpit to host a simple server on Oreon. You can install it through Terminal. Later on, we will be releasing individual server editions to make things easier. Okay, so our story. The Oreon project was started in October 2022 by Brandon Lester. The project started as a distribution plan to be based on Ubuntu. Kind of glad you didn't go with Ubuntu. Ubuntu is not something that I like. Ubuntu likes to freeze on me. Don't know why it does that. It just does. But yeah, glad you didn't go with Ubuntu. Plans later changed as Oreon Lime R1 shipped with Fedora Linux as the base. Shortly after, the base was changed again. Oreon is focused on long life cycles, strong security, and minimalism, which I like that part. I like the idea of it being minimal, because that was the thing that I liked about Fedora, was that Fedora was minimal out of the box. Even GNOME's, like the GNOME stuff, was vanilla. And so I like that. And I would imagine you would have strong security if you are going to do long-term support. I think that would be essential. I think you would need that. Oreon Lime R2 was released on February 18th, 2024, promising the 8 years of support. How can you contribute? To help grow the Oreon project, always make sure to follow our social media accounts and join our Discord server. Spread the word with others and be sure to give Oreon a try on your machine. All our social media platforms are linked on the footer on the very bottom of this website. You can also choose to donate. So if you guys like the project and want to help out, there's a donate button on the website. Make sure to go donate if you need that. And they also have a documentation for help with Oreon, which I'm curious. I want to take a look into that. And then tech support. If you guys have any tech support, you can always email them. And if you want to leave feedback, you can also leave feedback there. I know that I haven't been in the Discord itself, but I've talked with the owner and he's pretty communicative. So if you guys ever need any help with Oreon, I'm sure they're willing to help you. They seem very willing to help. I don't see anything else at the bottom. So what I want to do is I want to look at this help. You can look at installing Oreon, installing applications. There's a usage guide. And if you can't find what you're looking for, you contact support. They'll get back up with you. So let's see how they say to install Oreon. Okay, so this is really good because I was concerned about system requirements. I wasn't sure what the system requirements were going to be. So what I did in my virtual machine was I gave it 2 gigabytes of memory. No, actually, sorry. I gave it 4 gigabytes of memory. I gave it 20 gigabytes of storage, and I gave it 2 cores from my processor. And then we'll change the graphics later on. But apparently you can use it. You can install it on a media writer such as Etcher, Rufus, Fedora Media Writer, and more. And so for me, if I were going to write this on a media writer, I would probably do it with Balena Etcher. So that works out pretty good. And then you can download the ISO and then create the bootable drive. And then you just boot into Oreon and open the installer. Seems pretty easy to install. Installing applications, let's take a look at it. You can click here to download the FlatHub add-on. You can install apps through the App Store, I would imagine. So the help, I would say that's very helpful to have all this information, especially with the specifications of like your system, what you need for it. I feel like that's very helpful. I feel like you need that. Because especially if you're running a virtual machine, you're going to need to know exactly what should be in there. So once we've looked at all that, we're going to go to download page. And it says everything's up to date. So before downloading, know that Oreon may have bugs. You may report them through our feedback forms. Please contact support if you encounter issues. Thank you for your download. So here's what you get in Oreon Lime R2. It's based on Alma Linux. It's optional FlatHub add-on, which again, I feel like if you're going to If you're gonna implement something like that, I feel like it should be automatic. But again, that's just my opinion. You can take it or leave it. The Anaconda installer, I would imagine that's the installer that you. I think it's like Calamari's installer. I think I could be mixing the two. Wine support. Wine is good. Low system requirements. So far, yeah, that seems like low system requirements. I feel like. Firefox browser comes with Firefox. EPEL repositories. Again, don't know EPEL. Don't know Docker. But it says it's got support for containers. Familiar layout compared to other OSs. Moderate customization. Nuvayu. Or I think I butchered that name. I think I butchered that name, guys. AMD and Intel drivers out of the box. Yeah, so that's the thing. Make sure that all of your drivers are out of the box. That's very good to have because Debian does not have NVIDIA drivers out of the box. And that kind of made me feel a certain way. But I eventually installed the drivers. It took a little time to figure out exactly what I needed, but I got it going. Full UEFI support and dynamic wallpaper switcher. So you can download the correct ISO or the torrent. I went with the ISO file, and what you want to do rather is click the desktop standard free. I'm not sure what the desktop business plus is, but I would imagine it's for businesses as the name implies. As far as anything else, I don't see anything else, but yeah, just click it and then save it, and then go ahead and set up your virtual machine, and I'll meet you back there. Okay, and once we start the ISO, we can go with start Oreon. Well, actually, we want to test this media and start Oreon Lime R2. So we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, and now we have booted into the live environment. It says welcome to Oreon. If you want to learn your way around, check the tour. I don't want to check it right now. So we can either try Oreon or install the hard drive. I want to show you guys first of all what it's like to install the hard drive. We won't go through the entirety of it, but I'll show you just enough to get by and all that good stuff. Alright, so we're going to select English. Go ahead and click continue. Keyboard is good. The time and date is good. Installation destination. We definitely want to click on my hard drive here. Normally I would do something more custom. I'm not sure how I would. I mean, I guess you could make additional space, but let's look at the full summary. Okay, so the full summary. I was trying to figure out where I could add my, like if I wanted to add swap, for example. I did not do it on my Fedora review because I wasn't sure, but we'll do the automatic, I guess. And then we'll click done. Yeah, that also I want to add that that's not really an issue with Oreon. That's an issue with me not knowing how to add swap on Fedora, because I'm kind of new to Fedora. I've only ever used Fedora for that Fedora 40 review. Root account is disabled, so we'll type in a super secret password. You will have to press done twice to confirm. Okay. User creation. No user will be created. We do want a user. We want me. I want to be it. Make user administrator. I guess you would. And then we'll enter our secure password. And then, guess what, guys? We're going to do it again. All right. And then click done because everything looks good. We're going to quit because I want to get into like the environment and stuff like that. So applications, let's take a look. Let's open up Firefox, see how that looks. And that took a little while to load into it. So Firefox looks pretty good so far. Let's look at our settings. So let's go to background. Let's check it out. Is it slow, or is there no backgrounds? Is that the only background I get? Yeah, so here's the thing. In order to, I guess, stand out, one of the things that is great for standing out is like your wallpaper. I would recommend adding some more wallpapers to choose from, like maybe have different variant colors of the same thing. You could also have some people like draw some backgrounds for you, possibly. I would definitely look into that. Um, I know that I do art myself. I did my logo and all that good stuff. So I might would be able to contribute to that one day if you needed someone to do like a background. I just need an idea for it is all. But yeah, I would definitely add more backgrounds to this. I know you can add a picture, but there's some people who just like choosing whatever they've got here. So that's the only thing I would recommend. As far as notifications go, that looks good. Search looks good. Control, which are shown in the activities overview. Yeah, I'm not worried about that right now. Multitasking, hot corner is good. Active screen edges, I like that. Dynamic workspaces is good. Workspaces on primary display only is also good. And let's see. Applications, I don't really want to look at that one just yet. Privacy, not really too concerned about that one right now. I'm trying to be as thorough as I can possibly be whenever I'm looking at some of this stuff. Let's see, here we go, displays. We're going to change the resolution to 1920 by 1080. We'll apply and then keep the changes. There we go. Now we have something beautiful. All right, so let's see, colors. I'm not sure what that is. Let's go to about. Let's see what we're running. So we are on Wayland. And okay, so here's what I like. I like that all of your information is on this one page instead of having to go to sub pages, because I have to like click on those, and whenever I'm in Fedora, I have to click on those to get to specific ones that I want to get to. But yeah, we're running Wayland. The virtualization is Oracle. Not sure what the virtualization is, but it's good that we're on Wayland. We're on GNOME 40. 40 is not the latest, but here's the kicker. You don't want to be on the latest version of GNOME, because the latest version of GNOME, once you get on the latest version, all of your packages break. And when I say packages, I mean all of your extensions. Your extensions break. So I would say to be, like not too far away from GNOME 46, but, be in the ballpark of like GNOME 40. You know what I mean? Like, that's a very good thing, because even though it's not up to date, you're not getting up to date stuff with that. At least your extensions don't break. So that's, yeah, I would say that's good. Date and time looks good. The only thing I would change, time format, I change it to AM, PM. The time zone looks good. Live system user, yeah, that looks good. And I think that's pretty much it for the settings. Let me see what else they've got. Okay, so we're running Arc menu. That's interesting. I figured that was the case. I bet you we're also running dash to panel. Let me see where I can find that. Okay, so one thing I would say so far, if I were you, I would make sure that out of the box you have your extension manager. And the extension manager, I think, is very important to have, especially if you're going to have all this going. I'll come back to the extension stuff later. Let's go to software first. Oh, and that's a good idea. I could actually look that up. I could look up extensions, like GNOME extensions. See if we've got that there. We'll just type in GNOME extension. We'll let it load. Okay, we have GNOME tweaks and we've got extensions. Okay, so the first thing I would do, you don't have GNOME tweaks. I would install GNOME tweaks at first. Like out of the box, I would have it installed. I say this because people are going to want to customize their Linux distribution when they get it, and I just think it's important to have that installed. I also think it's important for you to have extensions installed, so that way you can take a look and see what extensions have been installed, because especially with accessing the settings, although I think you can just access it with like when you right click you can dash the panel. When you right click this, you could change your Arc menu settings, but I think it is important nonetheless, because I think there's some other extensions that I think would be very essential to this. So let's go ahead, let's go back, and there's not really much of anything on the front, which I guess is good. This is meant to be more minimal. And again, before I get into the extensions part, I'm not really too fond of the layout here. So what I want to do is I want to change the menu layout. All right, so for your Arc menu, here's what I would do. I would go into your Arc menu layout and change the default view to all programs. I think that would be essential to knowing everything that I can find on here, because then I can look more easily and see what's installed. So let's take a look and see what is actually installed. We got the calculator, so that's good. Got disks, got extensions, now that we downloaded it on there. We got files. Let me take a look at your files. Okay, so yeah, it looks like you're using GNOME for that. As far as Nautilus is concerned. So we'll go ahead and click out of that. Let's see what else we've got. Got HTOP. Okay. HTOP is very good, because that is something that will help you monitor your processes. And right now, let's see what the processes are using. So the cores, I'd say they're not doing too bad. The memory is actually pretty lightweight for GNOME, I think. Swap, we have almost 4 gigs of swap, so it automatically did swap for us, so that's good. I like that. But yeah, HTOP is a good decision for a default app to have on here. And let's see, image viewer, Inkscape. Inkscape is something that I use for my drawings and stuff like that. Stuff that I draw, I use it for that. Next, we've got LibreOffice. All that stuff looks good. Lutris out of the box. I personally don't really use Lutris, but I would imagine some people may use Lutris. If you're going to go with games, I would consider installing Steam over Lutris, but that could be me. Okay, we got screenshots, system monitor. Let's take a look at system monitor. I don't think I've ever looked at that before. But yeah, we can take a look at our resources more closely and see what's being used. So all that's not looking too bad. It's actually looking pretty good. What else is there? We got the terminal. I believe that would be GNOME terminal. Got a text editor. Actually, as far as the terminal, let's go ahead and this is what I would say too. If you want to kind of stand out a little bit, I would say figure out a way to get NeoFetch has been archived, first of all. But as far as, let's see, I'm going to type in sudo dnf install, and I'm going to install FastFetch. And FastFetch is basically like, it's an alternative to NeoFetch, and I like it. It's fast, and it allows me to have my own picture for it. And what I would say is make sure that you figure out a way to add in your configuration file, like a picture of your logo. And then that way you can have it display people's like their system information and stuff like that whenever you pull up your terminal. I think that would be a nice little twist, is having that launch on start whenever you start your terminal. Yes. Go ahead and install it. Okay, so fast fetch. Yeah, see, it just comes up with a penguin. I would love to see like the logo of Oreon here, and it gives you all the information and stuff like that. So I can see we're on 5.14 of the kernel. Not really sure why we're on that kernel, but we're on it. Packages, there's 1530. I don't remember how many packages there were with Fedora, but let's see, GNOME 40.10, we're on Wayland. So our window manager theme is Fluent. Our theme is Adwaita. Yeah, I'd go with Adwaita. Our icons, well, the cursor is Adwaita, but our icons, I'm not really a fan of the icons. I would, if I were you, I would choose a different icon pack. Like maybe go with something that people know, like Papyrus. I think that Papyrus looks very good. That's something that I would personally use. Other than that, everything looks good with this. And before we close out of Arc menu settings, besides setting your default view, I would say to also, let's see, you got display on dash to panel, so that's good. The position is on the left. I mean, if you're gonna go in the left position, that's fine. There's other ways that you can go about it. I think I want to give you like different options that you can do. Like you could, okay, so something's not acting right. And I think that has to do with dash to panel, because I think that the date is supposed to be centered and it's not centered. If it's not supposed to be centered, then I don't know why this is just going to the center like this, because it should not be going to the right. It should be going to the center. But I'll show you how to deal with the settings in a second. Display Arc menu on all monitors. I think that could be useful, yeah. Show activities button. I guess you could just use your mod key to access your workspaces. I guess that works. As far as button appearance goes, I would not have this here. I would just say select icon. It looks much cleaner, much simpler. Just get rid of the text part. All right, so let's click off of that. Let's go into dash to panel settings. Let's see what we've got going on here and why it's acting the way that it is. So one of the things I would say, if you want to keep this bottom layout, which I think it looks pretty good, 48 is good for a pixel size. What I would do is I would, see, you've got things stacked to the left and stacked to the right, but I think, and this is going for more of a Windows look, I guess, but if I were you, I would put them center. We'll put this left one centered, even though it shouldn't be. Actually, I know what I want to do. I want to take this center box here, move it over here, and then center it. Yeah, let's come over here and put the position to center, and then that way it's all centered with this. Now let's go back into dash and panel settings, or dash to panel rather. And instead of doing centered, I meant to do monitor center. but you can do like some monitor center stuff and it look pretty slim. And what I would also do is, as far as the date menu is concerned, I would find a way to format that, and there's a way that you can format it. In fact, let's go to, I mean, you can leave the desktop there. The system menu, I think, would be better if we moved it that way. So then that way you just have the time over here. And then what you could do is let's take a look. I know I downloaded this recently. It's extensions. Let's see what you have by default. You've got, well, you don't really have a whole lot here. It's not there. And that's a good thing too, to not have a whole lot there. But we're going to go to Firefox. We'll go to GNOME extensions, if I can type this right. And then we'll go here. I would go to this extension right here and hit install. And then that way we've got that installed, because I want to show you something that you can do. We'll leave Firefox open for now. But as far as the extensions go, what you can do is go to your panel date format. And like, if I were you, I would come over here to panel date format configuration, hit this date time format, look at the different formattings, and then I would like have some sort of formatting. Like, make sure you format that clock though. Make it look like, really nice, I think. Just something to pop out. And you don't have to do it exactly the way that I do it, but I think it would be more attractive rather than the original timing that you had. I would add open weather as an extension. And then let's go over here to open weather and let's hit the settings, and we'll put this one in the left. And because then that way there's nothing empty going on over here. But like, I would definitely do that. And then units, you can do F, miles per hour. I'm not sure what the pressure unit is, but the layout. Let's see, maximum number of digits after the decimal points, no. But yeah, this is what I would do. I would add panel date format, and I would add open weather as extensions. Another thing I would do as far as adding in applications is add in something called Forge for those people that want some tiling. Now, the thing is that you have options, and you could either use the Cosmic shell in order to do your tiling, or you could do Forge. It just really depends on what you're able to do in Fedora. I would recommend having like one of the two though. Like, just have some sort, and then that way you can hit this and you don't have to be in tiling mode if you don't want to. But yeah, and then you can just drag it to wherever you want to drag it to. So what do I think about this distribution? I think it is very minimal, as they stated, which can be a good thing. But I think if they just did some tweaks, like add some apps that are needed, like add GIMP as well as Inkscape. Like, you added Inkscape, but you didn't add GIMP. I would add GIMP. I would add in something like Steam instead of Lutris. I would add maybe a couple of other programs that you need, like you've got HTOP. I would just say try to find more niche stuff that I would add, like maybe some people might want to use Visual Studio Code if they're coders. Like, it depends on what your audience is. Like, if you're going for a general Linux user that, you may want to have a variety of everything, but if you're going in for a specific thing, like maybe if this is geared towards coders, or maybe it's geared towards gamers, like, find applications that are like relevant to them, I would say. And if it's for the everyday person, then like try to have a mixture of everything in there. As far as that goes, I would add more extensions. I would customize those extensions as well. I would add more wallpapers. But I mean, other than that, I don't really know of anything else that you could do. I know that tiling would be a good thing. I also understand that you're working on a package manager, and there was one other thing that you were working on, which is pretty good. I'm glad that you've got goals set up for this. If you guys want something that's like Alma Linux based, which is based off of Fedora, I would definitely go with this distribution for sure. But now we've come full circle, and I want to thank everyone for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe, and I shall see you guys in the next video.